Hello everyone, Rewindern here. Today we will learn how to draw a male figure. A goal basically, and go through the process step by step. In this video you'll learn the main method of defining proportions, the methodology of drawing, the process, the main landmarks of the form, and the basics of shading and rendering the human form. We'll be drawing in contrapposto, just like with the male figure from our previous video. Let's review the main features of the pose. Contrapposto, or the counter pose, is used to express a more relaxed disposition. This gives the figure a more dynamic, or, again, relaxed appearance. It is defined by the opposite levels of the shoulders and hips. This is caused by shifting all the weight to one leg, the engaged leg, and freeing the other, the free leg. So we have these opposing lines for hips and shoulders here, as well as an S-curve for the gesture line. This also causes the tension on one side of the torso and relaxation on the other. It's a good pose to learn drawing static poses as dynamic, as well as to learn to think constantly about the position of the ribcage in relation to that of the pelvis. We'll use references here, a drawing by William Adolphe Bouguereau, as well as a painting of Venus by the same artist. We won't be copying from them directly. Instead, we will use them to get ideas and inspiration. Let's start. I'd like to remind you here that this part of the tutorial is understood best when you draw along. So, take a sheet of paper and a pencil, or launch the drawing software, and prepare to draw. Just like in the last video, we start with a vertical line, which will define the height of the figure in relation to the canvas. Then we divide it in two. Let's add a horizontal line here. This line shows us the rough placement of the pelvis. Let's sketch it. This box shape will do for now. Next we move upwards and add an oval here. This is the ribcage. About 3/4 of the pelvis height will be the distance between it and the ribcage. Add the central line of symmetry here. It shows us the position of the sternum, while also serving as both the line of symmetry and the gesture line. Let's add a point here to show the position of an important landmark, xiphoid process. It will mark the division between the bones of the ribcage and the abdominal muscles. Now we move to the lower half of the line and divide it in two again. This line shows us the rough knee position. Then let's add this ellipse here on top of the ribcage. This is the neck projection point. Now that we have the ribcage, we can add two balls on the sides of it. Those shows us the rough shoulder positions. Because we have counterpoise here, the axis of the pelvis is opposed to the axis of the shoulders. Because the axis of the pelvis is tilted, and all the weight is put on one leg, we can draw a parallel axis to show the knees. The knee of the free leg will be lower than the knee of the engaged leg. Now let's mark the positions of the knees with these spheres. Adding the lower leg then, and moving upwards. Here, we define the head by giving it direction and then we can add stick arms. This way, we can very quickly see if the pose works or not, and then add the weight to the arms if it does. Now that we have shoulders, arm positions, and the rib cage, we can add the pectoralis majoris. From the left deltoid to the right one, we add it like a big blanket wrapped around the foam. Moving to the xiphoid process, let's add the arc of the ribcage, the epigastric angle. Continuing from here, we connect the central line of symmetry from the xiphoid process to the pubic bone. Here, we need to define the iliac crest. Let's show the pelvis as an ellipse. This is a section of the form that we can now put the landmarks on. These 2 points are the iliac spine near the surface. The lines on the outside of the figure here show us that the woman's pelvis is wider, and the angle of the greater trochanter is wider as well, causing hips to be wider, too. From the iliac spine, we draw a line that attaches on the inside of the knee. This is the sartorius muscle position. Let's add the shape of the leg, and then draw the other leg the same way. Now from the knee of the engaged leg, we can draw the shape of the tibia. And around this shape we can draw the gastrocnemius muscle and the soleus muscle, creating the silhouette of the lower leg. Now we can draw the knee in detail. By finding the center of the sphere and adding a shape like this. The breasts can be envisioned as drops of water on a curved surface. We have to find the attachment point in the center of the ribcage and then create the shape. Repeat on the other side. Now let's clear up the drawing a bit and make better lines while also drawing the arms. Let's draw the 6th and 7th ribs. Here. Now add the upper part of the abdominal muscle, just as an oval shape. Now we can go through the drawing and add a slight shading. We use it to show that the ribcage is divided into 2 parts, the one that's facing forwards and upwards, and the other one that's facing down, and is usually shaded. Same with the pelvis. When drawing feet, we can use a trapezium shape and then add fingers. The big toe is facing inwards, same as with the little toe, and the other 3 fingers form a shape in between. Repeat with the foot of the free leg. Now we need the suprasternal notch in the base of the neck, so we can attach clavicles to it. This allows us to find the trapezoid muscle as well. Here and here. Now we can speed up while I draw the face. It's a simplified one. The next part is drawing the abdominal area. First we need the navel. It should have an interesting shape consisting of simple lines. Got to find a good design for it. Then we draw 2 ellipses like this. Those make the lower abdominal area. Here we show the contrast between the upper abdominal area that gets narrow towards the belly button and the wider lower abdominal area. From this point on, we can add more tone in the core shadow. From now on, we just render. Clear the line art, define the action points, draw inside the form, and make the feet more detailed. In the last part of the rendering, we make the tone lighter in the parts that are far from us, like the engaged leg, creating focal points. In these focal points, we add the finishing touches, the final bits of contrast and detail, like the knee of the free leg, for example, and finish the drawing. This is how we draw a female figure in contrapposto. Just like with the previous video, we have an assignment here. As I mentioned in other videos, I have a Google folder with the materials for self-study. And we have a new folder. The female figure folder has some examples of how the figure can be depicted, as well as the references to study from. Prepare to spend up to 8 hours per drawing and make some long studies following a process similar to the one shown in this video. Good luck studying! If you liked this video, please press the like button and leave a comment below. If you want more videos like this, check out the Drawing Human Figure playlist in the description. This is a list of videos filled with lectures and step-by-step tutorials focusing on drawing different parts of the human bodies, which will be very useful to anyone who wants to learn to draw human body. If you want even more, please subscribe for future videos. Thanks for watching, and bye!